Hello, it's Jason from Count here, and in this video I'd like to discuss how to add models from DBT into the canvas. So in this canvas we've already got DBT connected to our Postgres database, and we've got some models down here. Now even without DBT connected you can always just drag a table from the sidebar into the canvas and we'll execute a query which looks at the results of that table. But with DBT you can do a lot better. So if we just remove this, and instead of dragging, we can click the DBT icon here, which gives us information about the DBT model. Now, if we click the Add to Canvas button, there are various options here, but if you just choose the default, what we'll do is we'll take the raw code for that model, the raw Jinja code, from DBT and add it to a cell and execute it and give it a default title and name. Now, as the raw Jinja code remains intact, we have to compile it before executing it, so if you hover over any block of Jinja, you'll see how Count has compiled it. So in this case, this ref invocation becomes a database reference. If you want to see everything, if we just pull this out, you can always click Show Compiled SQL down in the sidebar, and we'll show you the full SQL query that is sent to Postgres, or your database. And we compile everything here, so not just refs. There's also, for example, a macro invocation down here that's been compiled to a string literal over here. Now, in the case we need a bit more context, you want to look at these upstream models, there's actually a built-in way of doing that in one click. So if we remove that, go back to Add to the Canvas, we have these options to include additional upstream and downstream levels. And by levels here we mean, say, one step away in the DBT DAG. And now because this model has 3 upstream dependencies, then by including one additional level, we're including 3 additional cells. So in this case I'll be adding 4 cells to the canvas now. So we'll add these. These are all raw Jinja code again, executed independently. But the really neat thing is, that I think is worth pointing out, is how these are compiled. So if we look again at how this staging customers ref is compiled and hover over it, you'll notice we don't see a database reference. In fact, if I pull this out again, show the compiled SQL, we're actually referring to a cell here, staging customers. And this is because when there's a cell in the canvas with the model name, and it's been marked as a model like so using this option over here, then Count will compile all references to that model as if it's a cell. So actually if I delete this, you'll notice that we've recompiled this reference and re-executed this customer cell because there's now no longer a cell with that name. If I undo that deletion, we recompile it again and we're back to referring to this cell. So this is a really handy way of deferring and undeferring models. So if I wanted to, say, tweak this model in situ without having to push it back to my database, I can edit it here and know that everything downstream will update reactively. Or if I'm kind of happy with my changes, want to go back to looking how things will be in real life on the production database, I can delete the cell and everything goes back to referring to the database table again. Now, this is a relatively complex model, you can see by the length of it, and so another way of interrogating models, which you might find helpful, is to explode them. So we've had exploding cells in Count for a while now, you can also now explode models. So in this case, what we do is we take every CTE that we've detected in that model and we explode it out into its own cell. So if I were to just explode this customers model, it would end up as 7 cells, because there were 7 CTEs in there. But we can also go further. Let's explode the customers model and all its upstream models. So this is kind of maximum clarity, if you like. This is all the model information, all the CT information in each model split out into their own independent queries. Now when Count explodes a model, it will put all those model cells into a frame. So in this case you can see the frame is called customers with a unique ID. And all of these individual cells inside that frame are CTEs from that customers model. And the same has happened with our other models here. So our staging customers table has been exploded into 3 CTEs and so on. And if you ever need to see the dependencies between these cells, then you can just click on them and you'll see where they come from. And so if I want to make a change to this model, I can do that up here, and I know that everything downstream will update. And so this is a really flexible way, we think, to lay out, to explore, to annotate, and to debug your models. I hope you find it helpful, and if you need any more information, you can read the documentation or you can contact us using the in-app chat.